Welcome to the Beyond the Page, where we dive into the behind-the-scenes scoop that never made it into print at 중앙헤럴드. Hi everyone, I'm Yoo Ji-won, the editor of Social and Political section, and I'll be your host for today's episode. First off, let me tell you a bit about 중앙헤럴드. We're the only official English language newspaper at Chungang University, working under the Media Center. Since our establishment on May 20, 1957, we have been releasing 8 magazines issue a year for each semester. Today, as we kick off our CAU TV venture, we are taking things a step further. Beyond the Page isn't just about the printed word. It's about sharing the personal stories behind the stories, from the behind-the-scenes moment of our reporting to the more personal insights of reporters. We have got 3 exciting segments lined up for you, each filled with intriguing episodes from our reporters. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, let's start with our first segment. The title of this segment is The Two Sides. We will present the contents of Controversial Issues article, which explores both sides of the debate currently stringing societal interest in our magazine. Please join me in welcoming Park Ga-young from the 중앙헤럴드. Hello.
Hello, I am Park Ga-young, social and political reporter from CAH.
Welcome. What was the theme of the March issues of Controversial Issues?
It was about the government should classify gaming addiction as a disease.
Oh, sounds interesting. Is there any particular reason why this topic is relevant right now? I'm curious about what prompted us to cover it.
The debate over whether gaming addiction should be classified as a disease has intensified in Korea since the WHO included gaming addiction in the International Classification of Diseases in 2019. Discussions have emerged on whether to adopt this classification domestically. While Korea has not officially recognized gaming addiction as a disease, the controversy is growing ahead of the 2026 review of the Korean Standard Classification of Diseases. Supporters argue that safeguards are needed in the digital age and that a legal framework for treatment should be established. Opponents, however, claim that such classification could harm the gaming industry and unfairly stigmatize gaming as a cultural activity.
Then, what are the arguments in favor of classifying gaming addictions as a separate disease called?
The arguments in favor of classifying gaming addiction as a disease can be summarized into 3 main points. First, there is a need for safeguards in the digital addiction area. Current regulations are insufficient, and existing measures like the shutdown system have proven ineffective. Recognizing gaming addiction as a disease could serve as an institutional mechanism to promote healthy digital usage. Second, it would improve access to medical support and treatment. Since gaming addiction is not officially recognized as a disease, treatment costs are high and insurance coverage is limited. With an official classification, a structured treatment system could be established, and public awareness of gaming addiction as a health issue would improve. Lastly, proponents empathize that this classification does not label games themselves as harmful. Gaming addiction is not simply excessive gameplay, but an inability to stop despite negative consequences in daily life. Therefore, the goal of disease classification is to prevent excessive gaming, not to regulate ordinary gaming behavior.
It seems like this approach could provide assistance for more effectively treating game addiction. So, what do the opponents say?
Opponents argue that classifying gaming addiction as a disease would negatively impact the gaming industry and its cultural value. First, they highlight the significant economic consequences. The gaming industry accounts for 67% of Korea's content exports, and recognizing gaming addiction as a disease could hinder market growth, According to the Korea Creative Content Agency, the classification could lead to 60% decline in overseas sales over 3 years, resulting in an estimated loss of 6 trillion won. Second, there is a concern about the potential for negative stigma against gaming. Unlike films or music, which do not face specific regulations on excessive consumption, only gaming is being labeled as addictive, raising concerns about fairness. Additionally, this classification may violate the Constitutional Court's principle of impartiality, creating ambiguity in government intervention in cultural industries. Therefore, opponents argue that the solution to gaming addiction should focus on promoting a healthy gaming culture and prevention through education rather than a medical reproach.
The success of the gaming industry is also an important consideration. What is the opinion of CU students on this topic?
A survey conducted among Chungang University students found that 65% supported and 32% opposed classifying gaming addiction as a disease. Among supporters, 62% cited the need for safeguards in the digital addiction area as the main reason. They argue that the current lack of clear regulations on gaming addiction in Korea makes disease classification an effective means of prevention and treatment. Opponents equally supported concerns about the impact on the gaming industry and negative stigma. They warned that disease classification could hinder the gaming industry's growth and create unfair stigma.
It appears that students believe that implementing safeguards for gaming addiction is more important, although survey results also show concerns about potential negative effect on the gaming industry. Now, last question. What discussions are currently taking place regarding this issue?
In Korea, the debate over classifying gaming addiction as a disease has led to the formation of a public-private council, including government agencies. To assess its impact, Statistics Korea will decide on this inclusion in the Korean Standard Classification of Diseases by 2030, ensuring sufficient decision. Authorities aim to balance public health concerns with economic and social factors as a gaming key industry. Some argue classification could promote digital well-being, while others fear economic setbacks. The ultimate goal is to create policies that ensure the health development of society while considering all stakeholders.
Thank you. We have now heard a detailed discussion on whether gaming addiction should be classified as a separate disease code. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Now let's move on to our second segment, Herald Deep Dive, where we discover a new story. In Herald Deep Dive, we select one of the articles featured in our magazine for a deep discussion, diving further into its details. In this episode, we will focus on the reporter's pick article, which reflects the reporter's personal interests. Please welcome Lee Ji-soo from the 중앙헤럴드. Hello.
Hello, I'm 71st news reporter Lee Ji-soo.
Nice to meet you. Would you introduce your article briefly?
Yeah, of course. The title of this edition of Reporter Picks is the Endless Challenge Toward MLB. As the title suggests, this article will introduce 4 Korean Major League players who have elevated Korean status on the global stage in MLB. Since Reporter Picks often reflects each reporter interest, I wanted to write an article that highlighted my individuality. As the only male reporter at the 중앙헤럴드, I thought about how I could bring my distinctiveness. During that time, I heard exciting news that Kim Hae-sung in Kim Heroes successfully signed a contract with the LA Dodgers, which attracted the attention of many baseball fans. Considering that baseball is one of the most popular sports in Korea, I felt that writing an article related to baseball would be a great idea. I decided to focus on Korean baseball players who had made it to the MLB, sharing their stories and achievements in this edition.
Thanks to that, the March issue has become incredibly diverse. In the article, you introduced a total of 4 major league players. I'm curious, who is your personal favorite among them?
Yeah, the article showed 4 players. The first Korean major leaguer Chan-ho Park, and second Burnt K Kim Byung-hyun, and third Choo-Choo Train Chu Shin-soo, and lastly the Korean monster Yoo Hyun-jin. Even though all 4 players are remarkable and have left an indelible mark on Korean baseball history, but if I had to choose just one, I would say Yoo Hyun-jin is my one pick. Instead of calling him my favorite player, I'd rather say he's a player I feel a deeper connection with me. And I played baseball myself from Little Baseball League and through high school. And those years coincided with Yoo Hyun-jin's prime. And he was a figure of admiration for me. And I grew my dreams while watching him play. While I'm aware of the impressive achievement and records of the other 3 players, but I recognize their value as a role model, and their peak years were somewhat removed from my childhood. So this makes them feel a bit more distant compared to Yoo Hyun-jin. Moreover, Yoo Hyun-jin is the only player among the 4 who is still actively playing, which adds to the sense of familiarity and connection I feel toward him.
Yoo Hyun-jin is truly a living legend of baseball. I still remember the tremendous attention he received when he returned to the KBO League. So, are there any Korean players currently playing in Major League?
Yeah, first, Kim Hae-sung in LA Dodgers is highly regarded for his speed and contact and defensive skills. However, he has yet to show a standout performance in the MLB spring exhibition games, posting rather disappointing records and falling short of expectations. But I believe it's just a matter of time and that he will eventually find his rhythm as he adjusts to his new environment. Next, secondly, Lee Jung-hoo in the San Francisco Giants is currently recovering from his injury, and he is working to regain his game sense through spring exhibition game. After successfully making his MLB debut in 2024, he showed exceptional performance, capturing the attention of many MLB fans and Korean fans. But unfortunately, his season was cut short by injury and leaving fans with a sense of disappointment. However, his strong performance in the exhibition game is reigniting hope, and expectations for his return are steadily rising. And thirdly, Kim Ha-sung, who shined in San Diego Padres, made history by becoming the first Korean player to win the MLB Golden Glove, an award given to best player at each position. Though he experienced a slight decline in performance due to an injury and faced uncertainty when his contract was not renewed, he managed to secure a new deal with the Tampa Bay Rays. In addition to this player, many other players, including Park Hyo-jun and Jang Hyun-suk, are striving to make their marks on the MLB stage.
It's really impressive to see our players taking on challenges in the top league, and it makes me even more excited about what the future holds. As you mentioned earlier, the meeting between Kim Hae-sung and Lee Jung-woo, who went over to the US, sparked a huge buzz among Korean baseball fans. Since the two originally played on the same team in the KBO League, their photo together is even more intriguing. However, it seems that these two players have now become fierce rivals. Is there any particular reason why the teams they represent are considered rivals?
Yeah, first, the most fundamental reason for the rivalry between the LA and San Francisco is their shared regional roots. Currently, the Dodgers are based in Los Angeles and the Giants in San Francisco. Additionally, LA and San Francisco are the two largest cities in California, leading to natural competition in various fields such as economy, culture, and sportswear, everything. This broader rivalry between the two cities has undoubtedly intensified the competition between the teams. A similar example can be found in the KBO League, and Doosan and LG. Doosan and LG twins share the same home ground at the Jamsil Baseball Stadium in Seoul, sharing the same home city and stadium naturally fostered a strong rivalry. In a way, the rivalry between the LA Dodgers and San Francisco can be seen as a similar dynamic to that of Doosan and LG in KBO.
I see. Your comparison to Korean baseball teams really makes it easier to understand. Now, I have one final question for you. As you mentioned before, you also played baseball during your school days. How did you feel while writing this article?
From the age of 12 to 19, I spent about 7 years as a baseball player, having been closer to baseball than anyone else. I felt nostalgic while writing this article, and I think that made the process more enjoyable and comfortable. Of course, even if anyone hasn't played baseball, I think many fans might know more about me sports than I do. However, while most people experience baseball from a fan's perspective, I have had a unique opportunity to see the game both as a player and fan. This dual perspective gives me a distinct advantage when writing baseball-related articles or engaging in any baseball-related work in the future. With spring approaching, the highly anticipated baseball season is just around the corner. I hope more fans can enjoy the excitement of baseball this year, and for those who may not be familiar with the sports, I encourage you to catch a game or visit a stadium in this season. You might just find yourself captivated by the charm of a baseball.
Your passion for baseball truly shines through. As someone who enjoys the sport, I'm excited about the upcoming games, and I hope more people come to embrace baseball. Thank you for sharing such an engaging story.
Yeah, thank you.
We have reached our final segment. This last segment is called the C Vibe, with the C standing for culture. As the name suggests, it's a segment in a 중앙헤럴드 magazine that conveys cultural trends and experience. It's especially recommended for those eager to experience the unique facts of Korean culture, particularly exchange students. Today, we're introducing CH on Feed, where our reporters head out into the field to cover stories firsthand. Please welcome Yang Da-won from 중앙헤럴드. Hello.
Hello, I am Yang Da-won, international reporter of CAH.
I'm curious about both the content of the CH on Feed report and the reason behind covering it.
This March, our focus for CAH on Feed was a visit to the art and cultural space, Blank Space. With the start of the new semester, we wanted to search for a space for CAU students who are often overwhelmed with their busy lives to regain some mental tranquility. In our search for activities that promote healing and allow for personal reflection, we discovered the concept of a drawing cafe. Inso reporter and my goal was to find a way to fill the emotional gaps created by our hectic routines. The theme of Blank Space perfectly aligned with our mission. We aim to explore how art can serve as means of relaxation and self-expression, offering students a chance to unwind and recharge.
It seems like a great opportunity for self-care. Could you describe in more detail what the Blank Space was like based on your first-hand experience?
When I first opened the door to Blank Space, I felt an indescribable emotion. The atmosphere was so perfect that it reminded me of the saying, the humidity, temperature, and lighting were all just right. The sunlight streaming through the windows, the soft music playing in the background, and the gentle aroma of coffee created an ideal environment. After a brief explanation, Insol and I began drawing our chosen pictures. I had never realized art could be so peaceful. For some reason, I felt no pressure to do it well. As I colored with pastels for the first time, I felt a part of my heart being filled with something special. I still can't quite describe that feeling, but it was as if someone had pressed the pause button on my hectic daily life.
It must have been a truly unique experience. As you mentioned, while simply enjoying black space itself is delightful, I heard that there were special sessions offered there that you could only experience at this location.
Every Friday, there is a movie drawing session where participants can bring scenes from films to life on canvas. The teachers at Blank Space select a movie, and anyone interested can gather to recreate scenes from films using various art materials. Even if you feel trapped by the stereotype of not being able to draw well, the supportive environment created by the teachers and fellow participants allows you to break free from that pressure. Anyone who wants to join is welcome, and additionally, during the weekdays, classes are offered for those who want to learn how to draw. And there is even an exhibition space for those who wish to showcase their artwork. Blank Space is a place where you can challenge yourself in any art-related endeavor, making it a wonderful space to explore your creativity. I highly recommend visiting at least once if you have ever had an interest in arts or drawing.
Wow, if I ever get the chance, I would love to try it out too. So, what program did our CAH reporters experience? I would love to hear your personal experience.
What INSO reporter and I experienced was a drawing session using oil pastels. At Blank Space, you can choose your own materials and create any artwork you desire. I wanted to capture a scene from one of my favorite movies, Wallace and Gromit, so I decided to draw it with oil pastels. Since I had never used this material before, it felt a bit unfamiliar at first. However, with the continuous support from the teachers at Blank Space, I shifted my mindset from feeling the pressure to do it well to simply expressing my thoughts freely. This change in perspective made drawing surprisingly easy and enjoyable. I was particularly fascinated by the texture of oil pastels as they touched the paper and how they mixed to create new colors. It was an exciting experience to see how different shades blended together. After this session, I found myself wanting to return to Blank Space with INSO to try watercolor painting next.
Well, I'm sure you have personal reflections from your time at Blank Space. I'm also curious about the stories from the people who operate this space.
We even had the opportunity to speak with the manager of Blank Space. During the interview, one of the questions was how they came up with the idea to simultaneously operate an atelier, cafe, and exhibition space. The teacher at Blank Space answered, "We wanted to save only the best elements of existing drawing cafes without their limitations." Many of them are managed by people who did not major in art and lack structured guides for drawing. Our place provides detailed instructions and templates we continuously update. From the teacher's response, I realized that Blank Space truly aims to create art for everyone. The idea of creating an art space that everyone can enjoy and learn from seemed like something I had only heard in lofty statements. But the fact that the teachers at Blank Space have actually achieved this is truly impressive.
That conversation really showcased the genuine dedication of those who want to create a space that remains beloved by its visitors. Thank you for introducing us to a venue that promised to be a heaven for CAU members.
Thank you.
Listening to stories beyond the page of 중앙헤럴드 magazine, the final segment of the Beyond the Page has come to a close. If you have more interest in our magazine, please check out our physical magazines around the campus. You can find on the first floor of Building 309 and in front of the office 중앙헤럴드, as well as on the first basement level and the 6th floor of the law school building, the first floor of Bobster Hall, the Central Library, the R&D Center, the College of Natural Science, the Student Union Hall, and the 4th floor of 톺아보기가 Hall. It was UG1 from 중앙헤럴드. Thank you.